I tried to explain to them drops, and like when I got Twitch drops on this last one, and when I talked to BSG and they hooked up and sort of rebroadcast my Tarkov World DJ set, like that was like the hugest honor for me and the most amazing. Like I was just, it was so cool, and I was trying to explain to my parents how cool this is. And this is, I'm 44 years old now. Like I've toured the world and played huge festivals everywhere and all that, and like they've got used to that now. And now I'm coming to them saying, so there's this video game I really like, and I've been doing, luckily they're cool with it and they kind of get it, but it's a funny old world.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators that share their stories, experiences, and advice. And today I have the extreme pleasure of having John B. Beta. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's an honor. It's nice to have a chat and everything.
Absolutely.
And like hear your story as well as mine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we normally do here, the first thing to get things going, I asked, we do 3 quick questions just to get the juices flowing. And
okay.
All right.
Me up.
Are you ready?
It's important when you've been stuck in a house with a computer and no human interaction.
Absolutely.
Like, okay.
All right. So, best thing about coming home after a long road trip?
Seeing my wife, and my own bed and a bit of peace and quiet.
All right. One place you would like to travel to that you haven't been yet?
Again, this is, oh God, I'm already giving you weird answers here, but like I travel so much, and I have in my life that it's not such an important thing to me. So kind of play closer to home kind of trips are more what I'm into right now. Exploring England more, bit of, nice walks in the countryside and things like that in the UK. Is, if I could choose, that would be the kind of thing I'd be up for now. But I've never been to China or India. I'd like to do that one day.
Cool.
Not now.
No, not now. All right. So, final question: you can hang with anyone in the world, history, long gone or whatnot, for a day. Who would you like to hang out with?
Oh God, wow. Bowie or Steve Jobs? Off the top of my head, I don't know. Yeah.
All right, those are good. All right. So, where did the nickname come from?
Well, yeah, I mean, John B is not like the most inventive artist name ever. I had to pick a sort of DJ name really quickly right at the beginning of my career. I was still at university and, drum and bass DJ, I do drum and bass music, jungle, drum and bass, dance music. And, I'm a DJ and a producer and I write all my own music and everything. And when my first record was coming out, I just wanted to use my real name, which was John Williams. A lot of kind of house DJs and stuff, they have, they release under just sort of a more normal sounding name. And I thought, I'll, can I just be John Williams? And they said, no, it has to sound more like cool. So I was like, my middle name begins with a B. Can I just be John B? There's a few other. The most famous drum and bass DJ there is Andy C. There's an Adam F. There was a Danny C. So yeah, it's just John, and my middle name is Bryn, which is a Welsh word which means hill. So I just went with that. And then when I set up my own record label shortly after I graduated university, again I kind of had to think of a name, and Greek alphabet, because I was a bit nerdy and everything, and I thought alpha, beta, gamma, delta, just Greek alphabet. At that point in time, I wasn't so aware of, like alpha male and all the terminology and, social hierarchy and all that stuff. So like being a beta is not seen as desirable, but equally like with Tarkov, things, I like the idea now that it's something is being in continuous development, something is in beta, still working on it. So I'm cool with that, but
Excellent.
It's not terribly important to me. It's just that's what's my label's beta recordings, and there you go.
There we go.
And you can't get twitch.tv John B. So I had to
No.
do John B. Same with all my socials, really. No one else had nicked it.
Yeah, excellent. So now, before jumping into the entertainment industry, you said you went, graduated out of university. Did you come from university straight into DJing?
Yeah. So I was really nerdy. I got really good grades and everything, and I went to Durham University in the UK, which is up north. Americans I run into are like, "Oh, Raleigh, Durham," North Carolina, but no, it's and I did cellular biology, so I did
wow.
genetics, immunology, pathology, molecular biology, things like that. Managed to graduate somehow. The first couple of years, I was finding my feet and getting into music and going out and partying and trying to balance everything. And then in third year, I really knuckled down and still managed to graduate. But in parallel, my music stuff was taking off. And my first music was being released while I was still a student, and my first album came out in my final year.
Wow!
So by the time I graduated, I spoke to my parents and I was like, can I live at home for a year, see if I can make it in music or see if this is a viable career, and if it takes off, then cool, I'll continue. If not, I'll do like an MBA or something, and then get a traditional job working in, some kind of drug research company, Glaxo Wellcome or something. That was sort of my career plan at that point. But luckily, the music went well, and I was already touring and making a lot of good music and getting good exposure and stuff. So that's just been my life ever since.
Excellent. Well, that's great that your parents backed you like that. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be where I was today without their support and encouragement with a lot of stuff. They're trying to understand about streaming and Tarkov and obviously Tarkov stuff is kind of a hobby for me, but an absolute obsession too. But
it's
yeah,
crack.
I do.
It's video game crack, is what it is. Yeah.
I tried to explain to them drops, and like when I got Twitch drops on this last one, and when I talked to BSG and they hooked up and sort of rebroadcast my Tarkov World DJ set, like that was like the hugest honor for me and the most amazing. I was just, it was so cool, and I was trying to explain to my parents how cool this is. And this is, I'm 44 years old now. Like, I've toured the world and played huge festivals everywhere and all that, and like they've got used to that now. Yeah. And now I'm coming and saying, so there's this video game I really like, and I've been doing, luckily they're cool with it and they kind of get it. But it's a funny old world, isn't it?
It is. It is absolutely weird. Who are your musical influences? I see you got David Bowie behind you. Who else?
I'm a weird one as far as drum and bass people go, like sort of non-traditional in terms of sort of I don't know how you classify. I mean, it's electronic dance music from a bass, but when I'm at home, I listen to a lot of kind of dark wave stuff, like goth. I've gone through all sorts of phases in my life. I saw when you were talking to Spooky Squirrel, you were like recommending Ministry to her. So I was like, this guy.
I'm old. I'm older than you, so I've Ministry. 9 Inch Nails. That's
What is it? My favorite Ministry album is the one that they deny exists. Like, is With Sympathy. The one where is it called With Sympathy? It's the one with the rose on the front, and where they went super synth pop. It's completely not like that's my favorite one. But yeah, so I mean, it's difficult because, as you know, of our age, when you were getting into music, if you want to discover something and learn about a genre, you just go on Spotify. You can listen to it all easy. But back in those days, unless you had a big group of friends that were into the same scene, you had to like put your savings and your neck on the line to buy a CD that cost $15-$20 or whatever, and hope that it was good. Listen to a lot of The Cure, Depeche Mode. A lot of obvious stuff, but big fan of 80s music, which I kind of got into afterwards because of the synthesizer side of things. I was in a huge, like, very industrial noise phase. I got really into Throbbing Gristle. I don't know if...
No, never heard of those guys.
they were like absolute pioneers of sort of noise industrial music. Genesis P. Orridge,
Yeah.
um, who's died now. Like it was crazy confrontational performance art, really mad shit. But you know, late 70s, early 80s. So I've been through all sorts of stuff. I like
Yeah.
everything
Excellent.
basically, but
Cool.
nowadays I listen to kind of dark wave, like bands like Drab Majesty, She Passed Away. They're a couple of my favorites.
How did it all get started for you?
Well, sort of. So I used to just be an Xbox gamer, and I'd play like Battlefield mainly. I'd flip flop a bit between Call of Duty and Battlefield, just because it's quick and easy to pick up.
Yeah.
Have a few games, forget about it. And I'd watch Stoder, just his like highlight reels on YouTube and stuff,
Yeah.
mainly when I'm having my lunch. And somebody once was showing him Tarkov. You know, occasionally when streamers are trying out a new game and somebody that knows it's showing them around. And I was like, wow, this looks good. And it's kind of slow. I was getting a bit stressed out with how hard, fast and stressful Call of Duty. You see, I'm here like going like, how stressy it is. And I mean, Tarkov's more stressy in a more involving way, but
Absolutely.
the aspect of the sort of slow, stealthy nature and you know the audio. I mean, we won't talk about Tarkov audio too much because people always complain about it. But you know, the importance of hearing people creeping around, and I thought this is really cool. But I wasn't a PC gamer really.
Yeah.
My PC wasn't good enough, so I installed it anyway on I don't know, like Phenom or something with a crappy AMD card.
Yeah.
And I had a quick go, and I was like, "Oh, this is all right." And then I started having to learn about PCs and upgrading PCs and things. Because as a musician, and I've done video editing, I was doing video editing things before, but I'm a Mac guy. Like, you see my studio here.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't down here. So I've got a Mac Pro. Is that showing?
Oh
up
wow.
on the
Yeah.
thing? And my gaming PC and my old Mac Pro, which is my stream PC now.
Yeah.
It's a Mac. But I've been, you know, I had no need for a PC in house really, apart from like a media server and stuff like that. But being a nerd, you know, it's interesting building computers, and it was a skill I wanted to learn. So watched a lot of Linus Tech Tips, things like that.
Yeah.
Realized it wasn't as hard as I thought. So cut a long story short, you know, learned about making PCs and have finally got one that's really good for gaming. And you know, once I reached that point, I could play Tarkov
Excellent.
a bit more normally, you know.
Yeah. Cool.
And that's it. Not touched any other games since, really.
Mm-hmm. So, from a musical standpoint, where did your did you start in being a DJ, or did you go down a different path with music?
I never wanted to be a DJ. I started, you know, making the music myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And I being a DJ is just a means to an end, really. At the beginning, it's the, you know, live touring nature of being an electronic musician. And if you're in a band, you go and do gigs as a band and perform live to people. When you make electronic music, DJing is the obvious way to do that. And in terms of equipment and everything, it's pretty easy. You don't have to lug around a drum kit and guitars and all that. You know, you turn up at a club and it's a standard equipment, and you can DJ. I mean, obviously there's people that do live performances of electronic music with all the stuff, but that's kind of different. So I started DJing when I was at university. Friend of mine started the student radio, and also I started getting a few offers for gigs from the label that had released my first stuff. So I started just doing it because it was good to promote my music. And then it's just shifted into being the more important of means of making money, really. You know, as recorded income from music's shifted. Back in the day, with my stuff, you would release it on vinyl and you could reliably sell lots of copies of physical stuff. That's drifted away, and now it's all digital. Like, some people will complain that you don't get that much money from streaming and everything. But the difference is it's accessible to so many more people.
Exactly.
So in my experience, it's sort of evened out. Like, on my level, I wouldn't complain. You know, there's struggles with everything, and you've got to adapt and be entrepreneurial with it all. But I like that more people can hear my music, and you can still earn money from it. So
Excellent.
yeah, so like the DJing's the
Yeah.
live side of touring and promoting your music, right?
So now when, creating your music, I gotta think it's easier today than it used to be where you have to get studio time and everything like that,
Yeah.
really, like, you're able to do everything pretty much from your home.
Yeah, yeah. I always have. Now you need a lot less equipment. It's still there's a huge learning curve and
Yes.
everything, but nowadays all you need really is a computer and some headphones.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have a bit more than that. This room that I'm in now is this side I'm facing here is sort of gaming and
Yeah.
office type stuff and all that, and this setup behind me here is my music making setup.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, just got a big Mac
Yeah.
and some big speakers, but I can also work on my laptop if I need to, and depends what exactly I'm doing. But yeah, back in the day, it was a lot more hardware. You needed a synthesizer and a sampler and a drum machine and physical mixers
Yeah.
and all the rest of it. And now it's a bit like people that are familiar with video editing.
Mhm.
There's a timeline and you can drag and drop stuff. So yeah.
So now when do you remember your first tour?
Um,
It's been a while probably.
I remember. I think I was most of my first gigs were in the UK.
Yeah.
So I remember, it was before you had Google Maps and things. So I'd print out the directions and
Yeah.
get in my little car and drive up the motorway into a city I had no idea. Quite often I'd have to flag down a taxi driver and say, "Can I follow you to this club or whatever?" I think my first foreign gig was probably like Germany or something. I don't really remember the exact one.
Yeah.
My first American tours were always with a group that DJSS, who ran Formation Records. They would do a World of Drum and Bass tour, and
Yeah.
SS would take a few guys from the label and go all around America.
Oh
My first
wow.
US gig was in DC at a club called Nation, um, which is now a baseball stadium. They knocked it
Yeah.
all down, which is
Oh
a
shoot.
shame. I played in Connecticut loads of times back in the day.
No way.
There was a venue called the Asylum, or the
Uh-huh.
event was called the Asylum. I don't think anything happens there anymore, but
Yeah.
like that was a staple. I used to play in your neighborhood a
Oh
lot.
shoot. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Now, looking back over the years of all the touring you've done, is there any one particular highlight like, holy cow, yeah, I played that, played X or I played in this location?
Well, it's interesting now, especially with the situation in Ukraine and also the link to BSG with all this. But Russia, um, I had a period where I was touring Russia loads and
Oh
loads,
wow.
like early 2000s when it was kind of like the Wild West. I, drum and bass was really blowing up over there. It was really quite cool, but very underground.
Yeah.
And I think I was one of the first people like to not turn their noses up at it or not say, oh, this is going to be scary travel. How am I going to manage all this?
Yeah.
Um, so word must have got out among Russian promoters that they could book me and I would actually come and it would be good. So, I mean, that's one of the I've been all over Russia, mate. Like, not just Moscow and St. Petersburg,
Yeah.
but like Vladivostok, Irkutsk, Ulan-Ude, Yekaterinburg, um, bloody like all these crazy some places where you'd have to fly to Moscow and then have a 5 hour layover and then like another 10 hour flight. And I've been on the Trans-Siberian Railway to
Oh
get
my lord.
from like Omsk to Kazan, and some of these bonkers festivals, and like where the promoter was a sort of a local politician who was trying to make his town look like the Ibiza of that area. And never had a like the travel was sometimes like crazy, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was lucky to get out alive 1 inch away from being on a Russian dash cam video or something. But it's been some crazy times, and some of the biggest events I've ever played were Russia.
Yeah.
There was this group called Pirate Station that was linked to one of the main dance music stations in Russia, and they would do this every year. They do a huge event in St. Petersburg, and then they'd kind of roll it out like a tour around any bigger cities they could as well. And I think probably the biggest gig I've ever played was there at the SKK Arena in St. Petersburg, and it was like 25,000 people.
Oh my lord.
And like I was like one of the headliners. This like in a huge bloody arena, and they one of the things they did differently there was they had all before every DJ.
Mm-hmm.
They'd stop the music and they'd have this 5 minute long kind of acrobats coming in and weird themed sort of
Yeah.
stuff, like absolutely bonkers. So yeah, those were good. But I always enjoy coming to America as well, and
Yeah.
going to like Miami in March for the Winter Music Conference at the same time as spring break, things like
Oh
that.
wow. Yeah.
That's always good fun. I feel kind of safer and more. It's a bit of a contrast. Like
Oh yeah.
Russia, like this is amazing, but I might die. And then America, I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
The hotel, like I don't know.
Oh, fantastic. So now, what impact did COVID have on, what you do? I got to think you basically had to
Yeah,
scramble and readjust.
I've been really lucky with it, I think. But it was terrifying, and it still is. Because I mean, my main income is from touring and DJing,
Yeah.
and literally overnight. The last gig I did, I think, was Ministry of Sound in London, like end of February, whatever year that was, and then suddenly everything just stopped and got cancelled. The future was uncertain.
Yeah.
As it's gone on and on, like nightlife is one of the industries that suffered the most. And I think it's, even though everything's back to normal now, we're seeing a lot of. I was talking to my agent about this, who's also a big Tarkov fan now. Like usually we phone up and it's on. We need to talk about something to do with a booking coming up, or what flights I want to get or whatever, and then we'll end up talking about like ammo for like half an hour. So, and he's like runs a massive bookings agency.
Oh.
But yeah, like I think that I'm going to pull back to like how I was talking about discovering Tarkov and everything,
Right.
but that's also how I discovered Twitch. Was, as you know, Tarkov, there's so much to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd started watching Pestily on YouTube and his guides and the raid series and things, and then naturally through that I wanted to watch people playing live on Twitch,
Right.
which helped me understand how Twitch works and like why it's good and
Yeah.
the benefit of the community, and it's not just a sort of passive thing. Most music live streams and DJ streams still to this day are just very, I'm standing here DJing, look at me, yay.
Yeah.
The chat's doing its thing, but people just ignoring it. And sort of being a gamer and being into it, I realized the value of having that interactivity and like linking everything in and being able to talk to people in the chat while I'm DJing, and
Yeah.
I could see the opportunity for channel points redemptions for fun
Right.
stuff. Like, there's still so much more I want to do, but I think that really helped me embrace it and see how I could do a good job, and also see areas where I could do better or like use my skills
Yeah.
to stand out. Like that's
Right.
how I've always done in my music career. The traditional drum and bass DJ is sort of, quite rightly so, pretty serious. You have to be serious about drum and bass to do well. Like you got to work hard and everything.
Yeah.
But I got really into 80s and electro clash, and wearing eye makeup and being quite camp with it sometimes. Like I had a big period where I was very electro-y and wearing all like crazy bright color pink stuff and all that. So I don't mind about looking different and
Yeah.
weird. And I know it helps me personally because it stands out and it's
It's your
different.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen similar parallels how to do that in the Twitch space and in the Tarkov one as well.
Yeah.
Like play to my strengths rather than
Mm-hmm. Oh
like,
yes.
try and do it my way, because I'm not good enough to be like known in Tarkov for my clicking head skills.
Yes,
am I?
I'm the
But,
same way. As we get older, our reflexes slow down. So you know what? The bush is not
yeah,
a bad
yeah,
spot.
yeah,
Going slow versus running, I'm okay with that.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Now, so the adjustment from COVID to, from live to COVID, and with, Twitch basically sort of helping you in that space as well. Now things are getting back to normal, and how much have things changed from like when you first started in the, for what you do to today? The music, the equipment's gotten smaller and whatnot, but any big changes from a music standpoint, or it's still drum and bass?
Well, like musically, my output now, it's always been drum and bass. I can do other styles as well, but I just don't have enough time. My life now is sort of just incredibly busy trying to do everything I'm excited about and that I want to do. The huge addition has been this sort of kind of pivot into drum and bassy Tarkov-y content creator or something. Where the main focus really is on my regular music live streams. One of the great things about COVID is that it forced me into doing this, and helped me like channel out a little role for myself in all of this. And I've learned so much. My video editing game has now, I can do anything I can conceive perfectly well now, and this, with Photoshop as well. And it takes more of my time and it takes away from being in the studio making new music, but equally it means I can kind of do what I'm imagining better than if I had to filter it through a graphic designer or a video editor or whatever. It just takes it saps my energy and everything insanely. But making the music videos for the Hold Your Fire, It's the Wipe and Lighthouse Party and everything, they're like baptisms of fire in video editing, where I know what I want to do and I know what I can do. And luckily I'm not limited by my Mac Pro and the Final Cut editing software. So I always there's always some mad deadline on it, so I have to like do it in days. And I learn so much that luckily I managed to retain. So it's like having these insanely intense video editing and graphic design courses just thrust upon me, and so that's really helpful because it means now that I have all these video assets that I've been building up and organizing the same way you organize like a sample library for music stuff. So I can call on all my stuff, and I've all my visuals for my Twitch streams and things I can repackage into visuals that get shown in the clubs and festivals and all of that. And if necessary, it can even be interactive, and I can involve Twitch in it. And I've done a few gigs so far where I stream. I took my phone to stream from, but it means that my Twitch crew that can't make it to a physical gig, I can still stream like a completely behind the scenes thing just out of my phone and show them backstage. And I think when I played in Iceland, I just kept it rolling all the way back to the hotel and do a little debrief afterwards. And it's lovely to be able to do that and have a better connection with my fans than I've ever had before.
That's excellent. So Tarkov was really your push to start streaming. That was or did you stream before?
Tarkov introduced me to Twitch, and I was watching. I watch so much Tarkov on Twitch. It's like crazy, like every day. Mainly when I'm like having my breakfast and my lunch, and then a bit throughout the day. But so I learned about how Twitch worked through Tarkov, but I knew that I wasn't good enough at Tarkov at that point, and also I didn't know enough about how to do proper dual PC streaming and everything. But that was when COVID happened, and I knew I had to do something. I wanted to be doing DJ sets on Twitch. So I started out. It's taken a long process to get to a good setup that I have now. I was originally just using a MacBook Pro as my stream PC up there, and it was fine. And I was learning how OBS worked, and I wanted to be, have a green screen, but instead of just random VJ visuals, I kind of wanted to make it look like I was in a physical space. Because I wasn't. I was stuck in my loft. So I've gone through a lot of iterations, and now I've got a really good PC upstairs with like a 5800 and a 3080 in it. A couple of monitors either side, low down, so they're not in the way. I can see the chat the whole time. Everything's working nice, and it runs at like 10% CPU maximum. So it's the music has always been a driver of my Twitch, and that's my main bread and butter, and the community that comes to watch me is mainly interested in the music, I'd say. There seems to be a really big crossover from the Tarkov community and the drum and bass one. And again, that kind of drew me in because I noticed so many of the Twitch Tarkov guys would play drum and bass in the background a bit, so I'd be like, hello, hoping they'd maybe heard of my music or something. it didn't matter if they had or hadn't or whatever.
Right.
But you know, especially when you're stuck on your own in lockdown and all that, like trying to get a bit of a sense of community and recognition or whatever. But yeah, so I kind of moved into the Tarkov afterwards, and it took me a while to have a setup that worked enough to have a professional looking stream, and then also to have created enough video assets to have it looking exciting and try the crazy shit that I do with all the transitions and the funny scenes and all of that. But it's good now. The next thing is to upgrade the stream PC in here, replace this. It's a 2010 Mac Pro, which is my stream PC, and it's somehow managing everything that I do for the Tarkov streams. So I'm going to be upgrading. I'm going to be upgrading the one upstairs, and then I'll migrate the current upstairs one down, and then I'll be able to do even more stuff.
Now, do you remember your first time you went live on Twitch?
I do, yeah. I went live before COVID and all of that. Just I didn't understand Twitch at that point. I was just sort of expecting that I could just load up, start playing Call of Duty, and miraculously hundreds of my music fans would just appear and start watching me. I think I might have saved a clip from one of the early ones somewhere on my profile, but it was just I hooked up my Xbox with the built-in sort of send this out to Twitch thing, and then I sort of you can plug a webcam into your Xbox, and there's a terrible delay.
Oh God, yes.
So I sort of messed around with that a few times. You know, this is before I took it seriously, but it would have been really embarrassing, and me just sort of mumbling into the mic, and you know, not even being aware that I could look at the chat, and pitiful stuff.
So now when you took Twitch seriously and you jumped into it, do you remember your first subs or those first people that came in and said, hey, because that's always a unique experience.
Yeah, I do remember who was around first at the very beginning for sure, and quite a few of them are my mods now, and are still with me. There's one person from the early days who's vanished, and I always wonder how he's doing.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning, obviously there was so much going on. I was just frazzled with trying to learn how OBS properly worked. I was trying to do so much stuff, plus DJing at the same time and posting it, and there's so much to learn. Big learning curve and all of that. So I don't remember who my first sub was. I don't remember when that came in, to be honest, which is mad because it's such a huge important thing. And it still just feels crazy when you're playing and people subscribe to you and you're like, wow, this is so cool, but so mad. And what's going on here?
Now, do you remember when you got that notification that your Twitch partner came in?
Yes, that was bonkers. I've said this many times, I've traveled the world, I've done crazy mad shit in my life, huge gigs, all sorts of, emotional state pumping and excitement and things other people would never dream of being able to do in their lives and all of that. And I am pretty much jaded to everything. I'm a pretty grumpy old bastard. I quit drinking 3 years ago as well, which it has helped, but you know what I mean? It's sort of, I can't be like, I'm me now, this is it. So pretty much nothing really impresses me anymore.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest about things. Stuff still does excite me, Tarkov does. I get more excited finding a gas analyzer in the first week of wipe than if somebody says, oh, you've got a booking in fucking, LA or something. I'm like, oh, cool, good, yeah. I've got a gas analyzer, yeah. But when because I got rejected the first time I applied, and I'd been waiting quite a while, and it was basically I'd reached the 75 minimum through doing the music, and I was like, great, I've hit that, I'll apply. And then I started playing Tarkov, and getting less than 10 viewers really. So it was dragging my average down hardcore. It was also very inconsistent. So they replied and said, oh, it's inconsistent numbers, blah blah blah. So I just kept doing music and
Yeah.
sacked off the Tarkov until I knew I was in. But yeah, it was like April last. Yeah, it's only been a year now.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
the relief and the pride and joy. It was huge for me. It's sort of after working so hard and it becomes so important to you,
Yeah.
and I don't think anyone else would understand unless they've done tried to get partner as well, and it's just so important. And when I got the email, I was just like, I could have cried. It's
Yeah.
mad, 'cause it doesn't make a massive difference to your career on Twitch, really. It doesn't.
Right.
There's not really that many benefits, but it's a huge badge of honor, and it's so
Absolutely. Yeah.
important. So yeah, I do really, really remember, and it something I'm immensely proud of. Like,
Yeah.
but people that don't understand it will never understand that. But
Nope.
those that know.
Yeah. What would you say has been the toughest thing about, from trying to, going live and streaming?
Um, I think it's the constant feeling now of like having to feed the beast.
Yeah.
And the way I do like I have immense respect for people that stream gaming streams and are doing 6 days a week all day long.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. So what I do, I as far as Tarkov goes, I play it more than before. I used to play Tarkov
Yeah.
Tarkov Tuesdays, and I only really got a couple of hours to play and stream, and it wasn't long enough. So what I do now on Mondays, I play Tarkov from the afternoon right until the evening, and it means I get a much longer session. I get to
Yeah.
have a good stream. I can, you know, be more involved in the Tarkov community directly, and it's also a nice chance to talk to all my music fans when I'm not
Yeah.
just mixing and I'm like, hello. The stuff that really takes it out of me are the music streams. I do like 3 sets a week on a Wednesday and a Friday and a Sunday. Minimum 2-hour set every time. Wednesdays I play liquid drum and bass, which is the kind of more musical, vocally chilled stuff.
Yeah.
Fridays is the big high power, high energy stuff, like I would play in a club now. If I had a booking next weekend, that
Yeah.
kind of vibe. Although the Fridays that I have various themes and different sets of visuals I do, depending on various things. And then Sundays I play like drum and bass classics, all the stuff that I was playing when I was coming up. But so the thing is, I have to prepare what I'm going to play for every
Right.
set. Which is fine, but 3 unique 2-hour sets a week. I mean, I don't want to be playing the same music every time at all,
Right.
and I really try not to. So there's loads of prep for that. I want to keep the visuals fresh, and then doing the sets themselves. I mean, I'm sure it expends the same energy it would if I was playing games for 8 hours, but it's squeezed into 2 hours, and I'm like standing there, jumping up and down, trying to be high energy constantly. And on top of just DJing, which itself is busy enough, is fully concentrating on the chat at the same time and talking and trying to be funny. And it's like that's like a mega drain, just this constant
absolutely. Yeah.
trying to keep it up and watching your numbers and worrying if I'm not earning as much, and if not, why, and how can I improve things, and would it be better if I only did 1 stream a week but played longer, and all the time also being conscious I've got other things in my life. There's all the plates that are spinning. Trying to have business development going, like trying to make more video assets and stuff. Trying to make more music in the studio, write more music, and as more real life gigs start popping in every now and then, trying to make sure I prepare enough for them. But now my gigs are not just DJing gigs. Like, I take the visuals with me, so it's more work for that. And I do all of this myself. I have an agent who deals, sorts out the DJ bookings and the logistics and the travel and everything like that. But I do all my web stuff, all my graphic design, all the video. I'm shit at like outsourcing things, but it's kind of a necessity as well in terms of being able to make money from it. Like Sigma touched on it when you were talking to her. Is what do the people that are super successful are the ones that are able to farm stuff out, and
Yeah.
they make this gap. There's like, do you do it all yourself and you make a bit of money and you're all right, but you work your ass off?
Yeah.
Or do you make a leap of faith and you hire a video editor or several graphic design, social media managers? You sort of absolve yourself of all this responsibility, but you must increase your earnings and everything else by a huge degree. Otherwise, you're then losing money, and then what? And it's so I've kind of opted for the lower down one, which is just me just being like, ah! And every now and then I burn out a bit. And I'm like, I need a week to just look at garden or something.
Yes, absolutely. But even like on your DJ streams, I got to think that's more involved because, like you said, you've got the music, looking at chat, but now you're dealing with the visuals and everything that goes around behind you.
Super intense. The actual doing of it is very, very intense. Although I'm kind of relaxed when I'm doing it because I've planned out the music I'm going to play.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about finding the next song so much.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the moments before trying to plan the music that I always run the time out. I'm like, shit, I literally only finished, 5 minutes before I had to go live. Don't have time to eat sometimes. And I'm conscious. I'm sure most people, when they come in, they don't mind if I haven't done any new visuals for a little while because there's so many anyway. But I'm so deeply involved in it. I think, oh shit, they must be bored of it now. I've got to add something new in, even though there's like 50 different scenes cycling through on these things, like Ghostbusters and Houses of Parliament and all that stuff. But the other interesting thing in the dynamic of, this won't be so interesting for Tarkov people, but from a music DJing point of view, if I'm playing in a club, people have come to the club to see me. They're probably going to be there for the whole set. So I can play a set that goes across a journey, there'll be a natural lull to bring up a high and everything. With Twitch, people are there'll be folks that sort of appear in the club, hang around for a couple of minutes. If they don't like what they see, they're gone. You may never see them again.
Right.
So my DJ sets are different, kind of, and the energy, I have to just maintain this constant high energy and constant, it's always up on the peak, always hyping. And like creating this like emotional state pumping and excitement, which is great, and it's a really interesting thing that's kind of happened to how I play, at least on Twitch. It's a different way. Like most people wouldn't really notice. I mean, it's just a good, fun, high energy DJ set, but the different dynamic, I can recognize how it's affected how I perform.
Oh, okay.
And luckily I have, because it's how I succeed in it is by trying to keep that energy high, and if somebody just pops in, they're like, whoa, this is crazy, rather than, oh, it's another person standing there DJing,
You brought up a great point. Like, on Twitch, like you said, high energy, you got people for a few seconds, but when you go to you go to an event or a gig, like you said, you've planned a journey for that evening, that set, and you can roll with that. You have your highs and lows, and I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you're right. With Twitch, it's go go
it's
go
an interesting
go.
consideration. There's funny little things pop up in this journey that are interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's talk video gaming. So you started with Xbox, Call of Duty, and how did you find? Or no, I guess what else did you play back then?
I started with Doom.
Oh, okay.
On a 386.
Oh my God, yes.
Playing on a screen like this. That was I started on Atari. No, I started on an Atari 2600 with Pac-Man.
Oh yes.
That was my first. And I had a Sinclair Spectrum 48K. Bruce Lee, Dig Dug.
Yes.
I loved Bruce Lee. Oh my God. I remember struggling trying to get the Kempston joystick interface to work and all that. Yeah. Doom was my first proper love. Playing it on a real crap PC that was meant for schoolwork and things. And I actually was playing head to head, like PvP, through a modem. Somehow, I don't know how on earth I found this thing, but telnetting, dialing up into this bulletin board that was the official,
the BBSs.
Yeah, it was just the official Doom ladder thing, and you would arrange matches against people, and then you'd
Oh my
report
God.
who won, and it would change your position on this thing. At one point, I was the number 2 in the UK
Oh,
Doom
wow.
ladder, like for 1 week or something. I was in the top 10 for a while.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm any good. It just, I don't know. I was one of the few that were doing that, I
That
suppose.
figured it out.
But yeah, Doom on PC. And then, I guess university years, I got myself a PlayStation,
Yeah.
Tony Hawk, things like that. I always liked FPS games. And yeah, like Call of Duty. I used to play the World at War one a lot, the Modern Warfare 2 as
Yeah.
well. A lot, actually. Um, and then sort of maybe drifted away a little bit, but then got into Battlefield.
Yeah.
Played Battlefield for a lot, and then back into a bit of Call of Duty, but not really taking. I would look on Reddit in the community stuff for Battlefield and all of that, and one thing the big contrast I personally, some people may not agree with me, but
Yeah.
one of the things I love about Tarkov is how much more constructive I feel like the community is, compared to like Battlefield. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, Battlefield people have more to complain about, I think, but I just felt like everyone was always complaining so much, and also like the developers didn't help.
Right.
That it was so opaque, and the changes they would make were, even I could notice they were messing things up.
Yeah.
And just the stark contrast, having taken more of an intense interest in Tarkov, is just insane. Like, it's so, the fact that I have an avenue into the BSG guys, and
Yeah.
if there's the emissaries, and if they help streamers by retweeting your going live stuff, and
Yeah.
reach out, and the drop stuff, and they listen, they do the Tarkov TV stuff, and tell people about what's coming up and the plans, and involving everyone in
Yeah.
what they're doing, and if they make a change in the community, really complains about it, or like the people that play it a lot, like streamers,
Yeah.
give them feedback, they actually seem to listen to it, and I just love that, and it's really, really good. And I generally think the community in general, the people that play it, are great people, and they kind of, the majority seem to care about the game and understand it, and they're not just going, "Oh, this is shit, I died." It's a hard game. There's a steep learning curve, and you have to be a certain type of person to stick with it. Some people will try it and they'll be like, "Oh, this is not for me." But if you've stuck with Tarkov, you get it. And I think what I love is people seem to be constructive and like helpful, and also helpful to other players. All these discords where people will Sherpa new players, and people are so willing to show you how to do stuff, and insofar as to show you round, and play with you, and that goes right from people who are big famous streamers and all that, still have community days and bring people in and foster all of that. And I haven't witnessed much toxic stuff in game. I haven't had people swearing at me on the VoIP or anything. Like, one of my favorite things is just friendly, positive VoIP interactions. It warms your soul. And you're like, yes, this. It's like I've said this before when I've talked to people. Like, there are a lot of parallels with drum and bass and Tarkov. They're not particularly mainstream, steep learning curve. You have to make a strong commitment to be involved in this. But the longer you stay in it, the more rewarding it is. And when you find someone else that's into that, they're your people. And
totally.
Maybe that's true of some other games. I'm sure it is, but like, this is the first time I've sort of come across it, and I just really like it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I hear the same thing from people who've done other community games and come over to Tarkov. It's like a sense of family. Everybody just, it's just like this, secret club. We have this game that was like video game crack that we're all hooked into. I've enjoyed my experience in dealing with everybody, meeting everybody. It's a love. And like you were saying, for, Battle State to be involved in all these things they do, they listen and whatnot. It's fantastic. Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, how did you find the game? Like, how did you come across Tarkov?
I'm pretty sure it was through watching Stodare, who mainly does Battlefield and Call of Duty stuff.
Yeah.
I used to watch his YouTube videos of his highlights reels and stuff occasionally, and I saw a video of him being shown Tarkov.
Yeah.
And instantly I was like, this looks really cool. So I was just Googling it and
Yeah.
finding people. I think I just immediately pivoted into finding Pestily. And I didn't realize how big Pestily was at the time. Like, as soon as it kind of shows how my ego's changed a bit as well, perhaps. But I'm pretty sure, like, when I first saw him, I just like randomly sent him a message like, "Hi," not exactly like this, but I was like, "Hi, I'm a big drum and bass DJ. I've done some songs, you know, love your stuff, mate." You know, expecting him to be like, "Oh," you know, he did actually reply to me, and he's, you know, was super cool, which is a testament to Pestily and Tarkov people. But you know, I didn't get like how streamers worked and, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, like I don't even know where I'm going with this, but yeah, just, you know, finding Pestily on YouTube and then other people's guides and like a lot of Piranha, and then just getting on Twitch. And the way I consume media has just changed now. I stick Twitch on when I'm having my breakfast. Until he changed his schedule, I used to always watch Piranha when he was on earlies. And then I watch like Dan Exert and Azzy and Hayes, mainly like in the daytime. I don't really watch I love Iron Fist as well in the evening. I mainly watch UK streamers, kind of. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Just I sort of feel a bit more of a connection. And also it works with the timings of it, because I'm mainly watching at lunchtime. But I skip through everyone and try and say hello and stuff.
Excellent. Well, I saw you playing with Dan the other day. He actually was on my podcast, you know, one of the first few episodes, and I was like, "Oh my God, you guys are playing together!" It was so cool. He's such a fantastic guy.
Yeah, he's one of my absolute favorite streamers, and I love how helpful he is, and, you know, does a really good job of, you know, I like his play style as well. That's I very much align with. My play style is kind of like Dan, but less confident. Like, I hold back more, but I'm a fan of like playing slowly and tactically, not like hiding in bushes, but just being careful, because I know if I run around like a madman, I'm not going to win, because I'm not accurate enough and everything. But I really rate Dan, because I've learned a lot from how he plays, and it's pretty cool honor to, you know, have an afternoon playing duos with him. Sort of testament to how far I feel like I've come in the game. I've improved a lot, but I'll never be amazing. But I love Tarkov, and
as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
You just as long as you keep making progress, keep learning from your mistakes. And,
well, that's the one thing. This game will punish you because of those simple little mistakes, whether it is, you know, not checking your mag and just, it's one of those games that just, you know, I you know, my attraction to it is just, I call it a high pucker factor. You hear noises and you're just engaged in combat, and this could be like a 15-minute battle, but when you get out, it's like, oh, it's rewarding. It's crazy what the game is. So now, how did you get hooked up? Okay, so you created the Tarkov music videos. Was that before the BSG event?
I mean, I just did it because I wanted to do it. They didn't ask me or anything. The first song I made, I can't remember what came first. Like, you know, I'm obsessed with Tarkov, and it seems. I mean, you understand. You're an old guy as well, and like sometimes you're like, what's going on here? I'm obsessed with a video game and putting a huge amount of my life force into something here. But I like it, so what? That's what I'm doing.
Right.
I can't remember what came first or what, but like, so, you know, my music live streams, I have a green screen behind me, so I can effectively put me on any stage anywhere I want. It's just a matter of what video I can put behind me to make it look vaguely natural. So playing Tarkov, I was like, oh, it'd be really funny if there was a rave in customs, you know, I could put a DJ booth up there, and in the back of my mind, I'd be scouting all these locations, and I thought, oh, one day it'll be amazing to do a live stream where I'm doing my normal thing, you know, drum and bass, big DJ set, but it looks like I'm DJing on shoreline, you know, a resort, or on the beach, shoreline, things like that. So I can't remember if I was doing that first or around about the same time. and then also I was just excited about the wipe coming when I did the Hold Your Fire, it's the wipe song, and
Yeah.
I think I think I made that when we knew it was coming. You know, probably about on the Wednesday, it was clear the wipe was coming on the Monday or the Tuesday or something, and I was like, I could do a song, you know. And I was my first wipe. I was super passive. I still kind of am. I'd just run from fights. I'd spam Hold Your Fire and run away. Not
Yeah.
Hold Your Fire to get people to hesitate so I could kill him. Literally
Yeah.
just to get out of there with my stuff. So it was, and this was before I knew a Friendly Guy as well, and
Yeah.
I'd just be like, hold your fire, and run through, and it just pops in my head like, oh, you know, I'll do a flipping song about it and make a weird video with all the madness that's going on. And you know, I knew I could do it using all the alpha channel green screen elements
Right.
and assets I'd already made for the DJ sets. So yeah, so that had come first. Yes, but all of these Tarkov songs, I do them from start to finish, which is writing the song, recording it, filming the video, editing the video in like days. I do not know. It's mental, and it's usually done like not planned far in advance, really.
Yeah.
Lighthouse Party I'd had in my mind for a long time, and I wrote the lyrics in dribs and drabs, like sitting on planes and things.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, that's a good line, writing down words that will rhyme and stuff. But the wipe song, the same as the MC Lightkeeper one. I know because I went for a long walk on the Saturday with my wife along the River Thames, and I got home and I wrote the basic backing track of the drums and the bass and everything.
Yeah.
And then was kind of writing the lyrics in my head. So Saturday evening I did the music.
Yeah.
Sunday daytime I finished the music and recorded all the vocals and finished the track. And then Monday and Tuesday, I filmed all the video and edited it. And I think it was the Wednesday when I like released it. So it's like 4 days from literally nothing to this like bonkers.
It's amazing.
Intense. It's sort of insane, intense focus. I think it's sort of an ADHD sort of trait. Like, you know, you get I don't know if I'm ADHD or not. I think I'm talking pretty fast here, and I'm sure I have elements of it in my character for sure.
Yeah.
But I know one of the ADHD traits is like you get distracted by something that's not particularly important. You know, you shouldn't be doing it, but it becomes the most important thing in the world, and you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you somehow hyper focus on this thing rather than, you know, doing what's been on your list for ages. And it always happens, so I just embrace it. I'm like, this is going to be cool. It's important to me. They'll love it, you know. I never get that many amazing views on them. Like the MC Lightkeeper thing, it's been out a few weeks now. I think I haven't broken like 20,000 views on YouTube now, which any sort of half decent, you know, talking to camera update on the news or when's the wipe coming, they smashed that out of the park. Like, so, you know, I don't do it for the views, but it's my little contribution to the Tarkov community. And like, you know,
we love it. I love it. I'm so glad you created it. It's so good, man. Don't stop.
But now I just have the pressure. I'm like, I was hoping there would be something. When I did the MC Lightkeeper one, I was like, it was when they shut down all the traders, and I thought, oh, probably Tuesday. You know, they'll unveil the Lighthouse expansion, and Lightkeeper will come. Okay, I've got to do it. It's this enforced deadline, and I rushed to do it. And then they didn't do it, so I guess I can sort of re-release it a bit. When
absolutely.
But then I'm gonna have to do another one. Like, it's every time people are just gonna expect the streets. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the streets.
Oh, the streets, yes.
But yeah, it feels like I have this responsibility now.
Now, back in was it around Christmas time you did was it the BSG DJ event happen, or when was that?
Yeah, that was amazing, and getting drops during the drops event again. Like, we're talking about important things that actually, you know, really mean stuff to me. Getting Twitch partner was a massive one, but being chosen to be one of the few people that get drops, just like, again, my music industry people will think I'm mad here, but it's such a badge of honor, and so important to me to have got selected for drops, and then to be able to show my music stream through the link with BSG. And like, I remember at that point I was around like 9,500 followers on Twitch, and I'd been really hoping to kind of break 10,000 by the end of the year. I
Yeah.
thought at current growth that was doable. And when the BSG when I did my Tarkov World music set with all the crazy,
Yeah.
DJing in woods and labs and everything, and they kind of rehosted it, I've never seen any. It was just bonkers. The follows and everything, all the subs, and
Yeah.
I was just completely floored by it afterwards. I got to like 16,000, so I must have got about 6,000 followers in the
Yeah.
space of a few hours.
Now, how did that all start? Where did that come? Like, where did it go?
So,
Like,
there's a sort of I don't know if I'm allowed. There's like a private Discord which seems to be mainly streamers and content creators.
yeah.
And the BSG people, mainly for just feedback stuff. That they don't tip you off when drops are coming or anything.
Yeah.
You don't get any advance information about anything. But I think when drops are on, it's a good place to like check stuff with them.
Yeah.
But generally, it's just like a place to. There's a big bug feedback area there. People are always feeding about bugs and things.
Yeah.
So I got in there eventually because I'd been streaming and I tried to get some giveaway codes.
Yeah.
Originally through Tobias Solom on Twitter, the community manager.
Yeah.
And he put me in touch with a few people at BSG who progressively got me through to head of marketing and things like that. So now, whenever I'm doing something cool, I'll just send him a message and say, "Hey,
Nice.
I've done this song. I hope you like it." Like, because I'm a fanboy of BSG, I'm just like, "Hey, I want you guys to hear what I've done and see what I've done." Because he said a few of the people that work at BSG will have been to gigs of mine in the past in Russia and like were already my fans. Which is mad, and like it doesn't look like I'm going to be going back to Russia anytime soon at all.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping next time I had a gig, I'd go for an extra day and go and visit them all and go to the office and get them all on the VIP list and like have the whole Tarkov crew on stage with me and all of that. So hopefully one day that'll happen.
That would be cool.
But yeah, it just came about through. I wasn't trying to make anything like that happen.
Yeah.
I was just reaching out to get some, disc giveaway codes for the stream.
Yeah.
And I just said, if I can ever help with anything, if I can ever do anything to help promote the game or whatever, I'm here. If you ever have any good ideas or whatever. And then when I did the song, I just like sent it to them, and they asked for the instrumental.
Yeah.
Which then got used. They used that in the promo for like the drops event or Next Wipe or something like that. So it's really good, I can just let them know if I'm doing anything I think might be helpful, and I'm just like, here you go.
Well, Nikita's he's a musician himself, right?
Yeah, he does all the stuff.
Yeah, he's a brilliant guy. I'm so glad we,
I don't know how he finds the time.
I don't know either. It's crazy. Yeah. So now, what other content creators do you enjoy watching? You have Pestily, Dan, some of the UK folks.
Yeah, like day to day, like Piranha, Azzy, Dan Exert, Hayes. I like Walker and Iron Fists and Philbo. Trying to see who I follow here. Really, I mean, there's lots of music people that I watch, and I sort of raid music crew after my music set so that people don't all just fan. Absolutely love Friendly Guy.
Oh yes,
love him. I love his vibe. I'm looking forward to meeting up with him.
Because he's in your neck of the woods.
He's like, it's TwitchCon Europe is happening in July, and it just so happens I've got a festival gig in Holland right nearby that weekend.
Oh, awesome!
And it's my birthday, so I'm staying for a few days. So I'm really looking forward to like meet up with all the Tarkov crew, like headlining a massive festival, but kind of more excited about meeting Tarkov crew. Yeah, obviously Pestily. Yeah. Break. Everybody who you'd expect.
Yeah.
I mainly watch people in the daytime in the UK, so that is more European folks, because when it gets to nighttime, I'm just mashed.
Oh God, yes.
And I was getting trouble off my wife if I was like sitting there in bed watching Tarkov videos.
So now when you're, when you stop streaming, you're not doing editing, what are you doing afterwards? You stepping away from computer. I've saw some, video or images. You have a garden, you like the outdoors.
Yeah, I've got a lot of random hobbies really, but I'm just running at complete capacity all the time. I love the outdoors. I've really got into gardening. We've got in the UK they're called allotments. I think Americans
Mm-hmm.
call it a community garden.
Yeah.
So I have this separate plot of land that's like in 10 minutes away in the village I live in,
Oh, nice.
where it's owned by the local government, and I've got my own little plot with my wife.
Yeah.
And it's you have to just grow vegetables there, so I grow all sorts of vegetables there. Separate to that, I grow my own hot chilies and I
Oh,
make my own hot sauce, and I've actually made quite a good business out of it.
no
But
way.
I just do it's. I haven't made any in since COVID
Yeah.
because I've been so busy doing streaming now. But I grow Carolina Reapers and
Oh,
Scorpion
wow.
Marugas. I'm growing Botjalokia this year, like ghost peppers. Also a lot of just cayenne and Hungarian things like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a fun random hobby. I love running. I've never done a marathon, but I've done quite a few half marathons.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely finding like outdoorsy stuff and fresh air is really important now, and mental health vibes,
Oh,
getting out of the
yeah.
house and just staying fit and healthy to counteract the opposites.
Definitely.
I love movies and all that, but I rarely have time to watch anything really. I usually just catch up on movies and TV when I'm on planes on my iPad.
Any TV
Um,
shows you watch?
there's loads I love, but I'm so behind on everything. Better Call Saul at the
Yeah.
moment. I'm really really into horror. Really really
Oh,
like
okay.
hardcore mad horror. There's a movie called The Sadness. I'm really excited to watch soon. It's
Yeah.
like a Japanese virusy rage zombie
Oh,
one.
God.
There's an amazing movie festival that I go to every year here in the UK called Fright Fest, where they take over a big cinema in Leicester Square in London,
Mm-hmm.
and from the Thursday till the Monday, the premieres and stuff all day long, every day from Thursday to Monday.
Oh,
I
wow.
can't go this year because of a wedding I have to go to, but
Oh, no.
that's like huge for me going there. I've seen a lot of really mad shit. um,
Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And one thing I do, at the end of every pod, I ask, my guests to give, call out somebody. Who would you like to see on an upcoming episode?
I've lost track of who you've had on lately. You haven't had Piranha, have you?
I know I haven't.
Yeah, I think he'd be somebody I think
All
a lot of
right.
people would be interested because of how many things he does. Like
Yeah.
he manages to spin a lot of plates, running the guides, running his Outcast stuff,
All right.
YouTube things, good advice and all of that.
Yeah.
That might be a
Excellent.
good suggestion.
All
Friendly
right.
guy as well. Love a bit of
Friendly's
friendly
been
guy.
on. He was awesome.
He's already
Such a
on.
nice
Yeah,
guy. Yes, I love him.
yeah.
He's a great person. Yeah. Cool. Oh, Piranha it is. All
Wicked.
right. Well, John, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hopefully this wasn't too painful for you.
No, it's good fun. Like, yeah, the narcissist in me is always like, once I start flipping talking, I don't shut up, do I?